Hey listeners, it's Tracy Babian again. I'm the casting director and production script editor for the Carlson Chronicles. We're doing part 2 of the question and answers with Jerry Babian. And with that, we're just going to jump right in. Thanks again for stopping by and letting us hear what you're doing.
You're very welcome.
Okay, we're going to jump right in with questions. On the Carlson Chronicles, why do you think it's so important that people know about global warming and its effect on future generations?
In this area where I live, there are a lot of doubters, people who wouldn't believe it if it hit them in the head. Even with the facts that are showing and evident now in 2021, they're like the proverbial frog that was in a pot of water and just sat there, even though it heated up and boiled him to death. You have to take the time to educate.
Okay, well, that makes sense. What have you learned with your research, and does it make you telling the story more important to get the message out?
It does. What I found is that there's a lot of information out there that is written in such a way that it's too deep for most people that don't have a scientific background. I wrote software for years, started writing software in 1978, and I don't have quite the problem that the layperson does.
Okay. Do you think that the scientists are going to possibly view what you're saying and possibly help you add to this storyline?
I've contacted a couple just so that I could learn and get clarification, and it looks like some of them will contribute. We will see as the time goes on who does what. Most of their research is online, their published papers.
Okay, so that's how you've been able to contact them for research?
Yeah, all you have to do is pick up their email and website, and off you go.
Okay. How long have you had this idea for your book and or podcast in your mind?
Oh, I was listening to lore a couple of years ago, and as time went on, I had more and more unease about um, different aspects of what was going on in our society. I dreamt actually the podcast after an episode of lore one night, and Aaron Mankey, thank you.
Okay, let's see, what do you hope to accomplish with podcast or book? Or both?
As much as anything, I want people to be entertained, and I want to have fun. That was our husky scratching in the background there.
Thank you, Nebula. Okay, what kind of music are you going to be using for sound effects, and which bands will you be using, if any?
Well, we've got a deal where we'll use one of the radio shows in the UK some of the time. They've already gotten permission to use the music within the podcast as long as the podcast is broadcast within a certain amount of time, which gets us out from under the intellectual copyrights. The other one is, what was the name of that group?
I believe we've been kind of talking back and forth with the Undecideds. They're a new music band.
Yeah, over on Facebook. They are very good. They're kind of a crossover between old style rock and roll and country music, and I'd like to see them take that theme that we've already written and add a bass line and drums, etc. Right now it's organ.
Now, as I understand it, you actually have the radio show talk host that is helping you from the UK. What will you do with this asset?
Well, I'll include bits of it, bits and pieces along. We've got a lot of time where Ian, for instance, who is the main young character, will be recording from his surveys. And when he has to sit down and write out, we're going to have her music playing in the background.
Okay, great. And you said something about Ian. Is that Ian Kyleson or Robeson?
Kyleson.
Kyleson, okay.
Because he's Kyle Robeson's son.
Oh, well, that makes sense. So you're using the old Scottish way of handling that last name. Okay, that makes sense. Now, I understand that the voice actor that is playing that, his name is what, Micah Henderson?
Yeah, he's new to the game and has a great voice, especially a great young voice. I couldn't do it for nothing because I sound like I'm over 60, which I am.
Okay. How often are you going to be uploading to your podcasts?
Sometime on 10 to 14 day cycle. The biggest problem that we have is getting everything lined up. And that, I hate to say, is me. I've got to get used to using the tools that are available.
Okay. Now, I know that, I listen to the Leviathan Chronicles put out there by Krzysztof Laputka, and he often uses see you in 10 or see you in 2. 10 means 10 days and 2 means 14 weeks. So I think I'm going to utilize that phraseology, and it makes sense to me because it takes a lot to get these podcasts running. Have you sought out the help of other podcast authors?
We have. You've already mentioned Christoph. We've talked to him. We've talked to Alice Randall, who has a UK radio show, and Eric Busby, who has helped us a great deal. In fact, helped us tonight to get things laid out so that we can actually do the uploads.
Yeah, he's Eric Busby is darkerprojects.com, and he's the one that does the Star Trek Section 31 files. He does the Byron Chronicles. This guy has got such an imagination. He's a vampire freak. Okay. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else question-wise. So I'm going to say thank you again for telling us a little bit about this podcast. Again, I'd like to tell you about the upcoming interview that we've got on the 17th of this month with the Alice Randall Multimedia Show. She is the one that's based in the UK. She is disabled, and we're going to interview her as to what she does and how life is working with her.
And vice versa. She wants to know about us.
Right. And before I go, I'd like to mention that Eric Busby has a new show coming out called 28 Months Later. He launched the introduction on October 7th on YouTube. Go look this up. I can't wait to see the finished product. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. We will be launching another episode in 10, maybe 14 days, as Christoph says. This is Tracy Babian signing off. Thanks.